Bit of a reality check for you, and for me as well, honestly. A lot of us on YouTube who are uploading videos regularly will never hit that 4,000 watch time, 1,000 sub milestone, or at least we won't hit it in the next year. So why am I still uploading twice a week? Why am I still spending 10 hours out of my weekend filming, shooting, editing videos? Well, YouTube still adds a lot of value to my life, even though I'm not getting any subs and views out of it. And hopefully by watching this video, you'll also start to realize what it's doing for you, and it gives you that extra motivation to keep going. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Before we get started, I'd really appreciate if you hit that like button, comment down below what you think at the end of this video, and hit the subscribe as well if you want to see more of this type of content. So, I'm doing this while I'm eating my favorite ramen ever. This is the pao de bu champong. I'm gonna link the review down in the description. So why am I on YouTube is something that I've been asking myself, and it's sort of like a question out of sanity as well, because I've been spending many hours over the past 4 weeks doing videos that usually get anywhere from 10 to 20 views. And I think some people might think I'm pretty crazy to spend all of that time just filming, uploading, editing, trying to promote my channel. So I just wanted to talk about what YouTube does for me, why I'm still on it, and why I think even though I might never hit that monetization threshold, I still think it's a big value add for my life. So reason number one is that I think being on YouTube and being on camera will ultimately give you a lot more confidence that will translate to real world situations. So at my workplace, I'm in a leadership position. I'm not sure how I got there, but I am, where I'm looking after quite a big team, and I also regularly need to present updates to the broader leadership group. So I think for me, what YouTube does is it lets you watch yourself on camera, and it lets you spot a lot of the annoying, weird tics that you do. So for instance, when I first started making YouTube videos, I noticed that I said a lot, and I probably will say a lot still in this video. But I then realized that that's something that you can actually measure, because when you're editing things in post and you can see that you're removing a lot of the ums and the jump cuts, or rather you're introducing a lot of jump cuts where you're finding yourself making a lot of edits because you keep stuttering, that's something that I want to reduce ultimately over time. Another thing is that I never realized that I don't really make eye contact a lot, and that's where with YouTube it actually makes things a lot more awkward for your audience if you're just always looking at the ground or at the viewfinder rather than into their eyes like this. So that's where I think being on YouTube is forcing me to grow a lot of good habits that I wouldn't have otherwise spotted if I had not been watching myself painfully and editing out all of my weird takes. And I think that's going to translate well in the real world, because you don't get second takes and you don't get edits when you're in the real world and when you're presenting in front of a 50-person audience. So I think that's where, if I'm able to ultimately reduce the amount of cuts that I'm doing on YouTube, that's gonna be a success for me. And that's where, even though, again, I don't get any views or subscriptions out of it, it's going to be a real world improvement that I've made only because I've been on YouTube and I've been filming, editing, and uploading every week. Reason number two is it helps me structure my thoughts a lot more clearly. So the thing about making a good YouTube video is that you'll want to keep the attention span of your audience for the entirety of the video pretty much, right? And I've found that my watch time has been abysmal. I think I'm only getting around 20% of watch time, and that's a really good indication that the content I've been making has not been engaging and relevant enough for people to actually stay on to watch the whole video. And now again, I'm thinking about this from a real world point of view. This probably means that when I present something, people only pay attention to 20% of my presentation. which is horrible, right? Like, imagine you spent hours or days preparing the most amazing slide deck and people only tune into like 20% of that. And that's something that I can measure, because maybe with this video, this different style I'm making, maybe I'll get a 40% watch time or a 50% watch time. And that's something I want to improve at over time. That will translate to real world experience, because if I find that a certain way of speaking or a certain way of presenting my ideas will lead to that increased watch time, then that will probably be the same for my real world viewers. Reason number 3, it gives me a creative outlet as a hobby. So as someone who recently realized that I just really enjoy work a lot, and I don't know if it's because of my Asian upbringing, but if I don't have anything to do, I'll just work. I needed a hobby that wasn't just sitting in front of the TV and watching dramas on Netflix or K-pop on YouTube. And I think that with a creative outlet like YouTube, as a content creator, that really drives my brain to think creatively on something that isn't really work related. Because you don't really want your entire day to be consumed by thinking about how to improve this process at work or how to make this existing program a bit better. Sorry, I hope my bosses aren't watching this one. But that's the reality, is your brain does need a break from the stress of everyday living. And I think that having a hobby that actually allows you to create something, that allows you to have measurable improvements outside of your immediate day job, I think it's invaluable for not just your mental health like me, but also just to make you a bit more of a well-rounded person. Reason number 4 why I'm on YouTube, I think having the skill set of being able to shoot a video, edit it, upload it somewhere, make cuts, add music, that's a skill set that a lot of people actually don't have. Like, even if you're just doing it on iMovie, the skill to be able to just take some video clips, some text, some photos, and put it together in video format makes you actually have a bit of a niche skill set that you might be able to use at work. Like, for example, in my last 3 jobs, I've had to create phone recordings where I've had to take someone, have them record scripts, and then I've had to use this noise cancellation function on Audacity to remove the background noise, but also I've also had to remove their breathing sounds, like those sounds. That's something that no one else in my company knew how to do, and if they didn't have me in there, they probably would have paid someone external to do it, or they probably would have done it without all of those sound improvements, and it would have sounded horrible. And I think the more niche skills that you have, the more things that you can do that no one else can do, the more well-rounded and the more invaluable you are in your workplace. And so I found myself in situations where the job that I was hired for ultimately isn't what I'm doing, because I've realized, and my company realizes, that, hey, you know what, like, he's the only guy in the company who knows how to do this thing. And so maybe let's make him do a bit more of that. And maybe that means we need him a bit more. And all of those skills you can pick up from a creative hobby like YouTube. So those are my 4 reasons why I'm still sticking around on YouTube, and why I think I'll still be able to upload 1 or 2 videos a week, even though I might never blow up. I think the mindset I think what I hope you can take out of this is, ultimately your happiness on YouTube will depend on 2 things. One is your expectation about what success will look like, and the other is what you're actually able to achieve on YouTube. And if you find that your expectation is that you'll become the next, the next Mr. Beast or the next PewDiePie, you probably won't get there, because the odds are just not in your favor. But for me, I've set my goals as, I want to improve as a person, and I want to really develop a lot of the soft skills that I know I've been missing for the longest time, both in and out of work. And hopefully by being on YouTube, it gives me a bit more confidence, and it gives me a bit more awareness as to how I'm perceived by people. If I achieve all of that, that's already a big win for me, because this is something that I'm ultimately applying into my real world situations, and maybe that's going to feed into my bonus or give me a raise or unlock some more professional opportunities for me. And that's where you can't really measure your success on things like YouTube watch time anymore or YouTube views. It's like YouTube is helping me become a better, more successful person. And I hope maybe you can find your version of this. Maybe if you're on YouTube as someone who is singing or someone who's doing covers, maybe just being on YouTube makes you improve as a singer or as a musician because you're putting yourself out there and you're noticing as you're editing, hey, maybe I missed this note or I could have done that a bit better. And so really, I just hope that you find your version of this in yourself. Well, that's it for the end of this video. If you also have a bit of a personal goal that isn't necessarily tied to YouTube's traditional success metrics, let me know down in the comments because I would love to hear why you're motivated to keep uploading on YouTube. Well, thanks for watching. Here are my other videos showing up right now if you're interested in any of them. I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.